Hi everybody, my name is Darrell Abney. This is a creature posing tutorial for 3D World magazine. A little about me, I'm a senior creature modeler at ILM. I've worked as a modeler and texture artist on Star Wars The Last Jedi, modeler and shot sculptor on Kong Skull Island, and alien modeler on Valerian. You can learn more about me at darrellabney.com, and you can find my tutorials at gumroad.com/dabney. So let's get started. So I'm using ZBrush 4R8, and I've got my neutral posed alien in here with several different subtools. We've got the spikes, the eyes. If you go solo, I can show you nose ring, mouth, shorts. I've also got the ground plane in here. If I hit P to turn off perspective, you can see that I did a little extrusion so that when you look from the front, you can kind of see the ground plane. Otherwise, it'll just be like invisible. So turn solo off. That should help us when we're posing to make sure the foot is on the ground. So basically, oh yeah, I want to get the gun in here. So I'll use the multi-append and bring the gun in. Here we go. Don't need polyframe. If you hold Alt and left click on something, it'll become active. And W for the gizmo. If it doesn't center right on your model, you just need to hit this guy and kind of put the gun in his hand. We'll tweak this more when it gets to the final pose. And this gizmo is new in ZBrush 4R8. Before you had the transpose, which you can still get to if you turn this off. This is kind of the old way. So just get that in his hand. That'll do for now. Kind of like to clear that out. So what you can do now, if you really want, you can store a morph target on everything and make a layer for it. Let's see. I'm going to bring this over here. And we want this transpose master. So yeah, this actually will put a layer on every subtool if you want to have that much control to turn the layer on and off. I tend to not really use it. I just do this T-pose mesh. And there we go. Now it's done. So it'll probably go a little faster if you drop to your lowest level before you do that. So now in the subtool palette, it's just one mesh, and that's a good thing. That's what we want. Shift F to show you wireframe. When you hold Control Shift and you left click on something, it'll hide everything except what you have. So we're going to use that a lot, and we're also going to do a lot of masking here. So we can do that Control Shift left click, mask all, Control Shift click out here, and then you can hold Control left click out here and it'll invert the mask, or same as Control I. So we'll be using that a lot. And what I'm going to do is actually, I use these so much that I want to bring them out into my interface. So I'm going to go to Config, Enable Customize, Control Shift, oh wait, it's Control Alt, drag, And the ones I use the most are grow and shrink, sharpen. And then when you're done, you do there, store config. You can also do save UI, save it out somewhere, but I don't need to do that right now. And just so you know, we're going to go for a pose kind of like this. So it's going to be holding the gun, his right leg's going to be back a little bit, curl the tail, kind of pissed off. So I think I'm going to work on raising the arm up. So Control Shift A clears the mask. So just going to you can do Control A, or you can, hang on, Control Shift to get it. You can do Control A, or you can hold Control and left click and drag. And if you don't want to do the box, you can switch it to lasso, which actually is pretty handy. So I'm just going to lasso, and then I want to I don't want to deal with the ground. It's kind of annoying having it there, so get that out of the way. And just going to go up to hand. And this is where these masking things come in handy that I dragged off. So you can grow it, sharpen it, grow it. You can also use transpose, which is this. You hold Control left click, it'll kind of. Let me make sure I have the right. I think they changed it. Oh, there you go. So you have to have transpose line up, which is W, and then you Control left click, and it'll drag up. I tend to just use the lasso though. I just wanted to show you that. So lasso, let's hide this ground. And get in there. Alright. If you hold Control left click on your model, you can blur it, or you can just hit blur. And let's invert. Control I. Now is when the transpose comes in handy. So sometimes it's in my way, so I'll just like put the line over there and then go back. And then R for rotate. I'll blur it a little bit. It's getting some funkiness there. So I can do the move tool. Just kind of use a combination. Move tool, transpose. The wrist get kind of jacked up, so that. You can also do the tool this way. Rotate. Sometimes it's just easier to visualize when it's going along the axis. If you can rotate the middle one, you can twist the wrist. Alright. So I've made hotkeys for my brushes, like one is the move tool, so you might not see me switch to it. Alright. Let's go top view. I'm holding Shift left click just to snap the view. something's moving back here, which means I just haven't masked it all. So I'm gonna blur. And I'm gonna grow the mask. Sharpen. Actually, I want to shrink it. Sharpen, shrink. So we can get his, hit W for transpose. This way we can get his shoulder going a little bit. He's really heavy, so you're going to get some crashing, but we'll fix that later. But the more you blur, the more you'll get like a fall off, so you want to have that to really move the shoulders. I'm going to shrink it some more. Sharpen, shrink, there. Let's go crazy and just really, really shrink it. So again, I'm hitting the R key and I'm getting this outer one. There we go, now the shoulder's going. So I'm not going to go too crazy right now because we're going to be moving his hips and everything. So what I'd like to do actually is before I go too far, I send it back to the subtools because sometimes ZBrush will crash if you just go too long. So I'll send it back and then I'll save it out. I tend to don't work more than like 15 minutes posing because in the past I've had this crash on me and it's like, oh, it just sucks losing work. So depending on how fast your machine is, how big your model is, this process could go faster or slower. And yeah, so now it's completed. I think it's running kind of slow because I'm on the highest subdivision level, so you might want to just drop this guy. I have a key that drops all the subtools to the lowest. I'm not sure where that is. Yeah, all low. I made that a hotkey, so it just sends it all the lowest. And then at this point you can just save it out. And so now we've saved, and that's the basics. We'll just repeat the process. Alright, so this one's posed. I think I want to get the hips going. Hide the floor. And just give them a little twist. So to do that, I'm gonna just hit F to frame the model. I don't need the gun right this second. Alright. Just want to get his hips. And show everybody, hide the floor. Control I. I'm actually going to mask the feet, rotate the upper part. Blur a few times. Remember to click that to turn your gizmo off. And hit R. That's cool. I think we could blur a little more. And maybe unmask a little bit. There. Let's hit R. Unmask a little bit more of the belly. So we get, oops. I think I had scale on instead of rotate. So now we get a little twist. And if this stuff pulls a little there, I'm not too worried about it. It's easier to fix it later than to like agonize over it. So I'm gonna clear the mask. Actually, I want to shrink, sharpen. Just want to pull the arm back. W. Sometimes I like to move a little, blur a little, move a little, blur a little. Another thing you can do, if you hold Control Shift and drag, I want to get this spike in there too. And then display properties, double-sided. It's also another thing that I usually drag this out. Maybe not there, maybe down here. So I use that a lot, double-sided. And then if you hold Control Shift X, it will grow. So then it's kind of easier to say you just want to bend the elbow. There we go. Let's pose the wrist now. The whole arm might need to come forward just a little. I find posing to be pretty hard. So don't get frustrated if it doesn't look right at first. It's kind of tricky to get in. This is when the Control Shift drag thing helps. You can also hold Control Shift and get the lasso, and I'm holding Control Alt and then left clicking. Actually, I'm holding Control Shift and then I'm hitting Alt for subtract mode while left clicking, and then hold Control left click to get the mask. Blur. So I want to bring the arm forward a little bit. go. And almost there. I want to work on the elbow bend. Might that. Need to mask this stronger. And he's kind of looking to the left. I think I'm going to twist his head a little bit. So I see that the costume came up, so I'm just going to use the move tool. Control A, mask everything, and then invert it. Okay. So, gonna twist his face just a little bit. So Control Alt left click to unmask. Oops. Control Alt left click. And let's see. W to bring out the transpose. That's funky. Didn't mean to do that. I'm gonna blur a little bit. Just want a little bit of a head turn, like not a ton, but oops. If you really wanted to, you can pull them back. Maybe go forward just a little bit. Alright. That's kind of first pass on the upper body, then we can move on to the legs. Okay, let's jump onto the lower body. Let's see. I'm gonna move his left leg forward. So I want to mask this stuff. Invert it. Actually, I want to shrink. Yep. R key. I'm going to need a lot more blur. Oops. Okay. And I'm going to Control Shift A clears the mask. Same thing as mask clear. I want to bend the knee here. Oops. Sometimes when you have the lasso on your Control Shift, it hides things weird. So you can go back to rectangle if you want. Turn double on. basically I just want to get him naked so I can see where the knee is. And invert it. Do a little knee bend. At this point you could turn your floor on to kind of line things up, but you want to mask the floor. Control A. And oops. You can also use a move tool, grab the middle if you actually want to pull. So since we have the ground in there, you can see that it's working pretty good. It's not, you know, it's not jamming through. I might bend the ankle just a little bit. Oops. I should almost hotkey blurs because I use it so much, but alright. Rotate. Transpose line can get a little finicky. A lot of this is just order of operations stuff. Just rotate that down. It's a little bit twisted that angle, so I'll the middle one. It's already looking pretty cool just by moving that 1 foot forward, so let's move the other foot back. And I was looking, you know, when I first posed this, I was looking at a lot of reference at just the way people stand, and Greek and Roman sculptures are great reference. Contrapposto, which is when the shoulder line goes one way and the hip goes the other for weight distribution. A lot of stuff like that. Alright, split. And you can feel free to do a lot of experimentation. Like sometimes I'll do like a really quick and dirty pose and then just to get the feel and then come back later and actually take my time and do it right. Let's see. Unmask a little bit there. I don't like the way it's bending. Let's see. Okay, so maybe this leg's a little bit out too. And I'll do Control Shift left click drag, Control Shift X. Just want to bend the knee, and then I'll bend the ankle later. It's kind of hard to find his knee. It's got funky sort of dinosaur legs. Let's see. Alright. I might even pull the leg down a little bit. Alright, let's see. I'm going to pose the ankle. Get this little spike there. I want to get